the news this week, a gay vicar who defied biblical teaching to marry his partner is elected to the General Synod. MPs speak out against legalising cannabis, and babies are shown responding to music in the womb. Hello and welcome to this week's news bulletin from the Christian Institute. A Church of England clergyman who entered a same-sex marriage last year in contradiction to the Bible has now been elected to the General Synod. The Church of England reflects biblical teaching that marriage is between a man and a woman, but Reverend Andrew Foreshew-Cain ignored this to wed his partner, an atheist, in June 2014. His election to the Synod has been criticised, but writing on Twitter, Reverend Foreshew-Cain was defiant. He said he was feeling daunted, elated and ready, before adding no surrender. CEO of Christian Concern, Andrea Williams, who is standing for re-election to the General Synod, spoke out against the election. Last year, Andrew Cain ignored biblical teaching and the clear instruction of the House of Bishops and entered into a same-sex marriage. He should be swiftly removed from church leadership. BBC presenter Chris Evans has said that marriage doesn't work at all anymore. He claimed that for 3,000 years, the institution has been about ownership of a woman by a man. However, the Coalition for Marriage's Sharon James told BBC Tees that marriage is the ultimate equality.
The great thing about marriage is it's two people equally saying, I'm going to stay with you for life. There can't be a greater equality than that. Two people equally committing to each other. In a relationship, if one person has more power, it's the person who's less committed. They can just walk out. So marriage, I think, is a great stability and security for both men and women, and of course, absolutely for any children that their union produces.
Dr. James concluded by saying that society needs to return to celebrating marriage as the most successful partnership in history. MPs have spoken out against the legalisation of cannabis during a parliamentary debate. It was held in response to an online petition that calls for the production, sale and use of cannabis to be legalised. Home Office Minister Mike Penning said that the government will not support the call. During the debate, two MPs, one of whom is a clinical psychologist, cited increasing evidence of a link between cannabis use and mental illness.
There is growing evidence that people with serious mental illness, including depression and psychosis, are more likely to use cannabis or to have used it for long periods of time in the past. It also appears that regular use of this doubles the risk of developing a psychotic episode or long-term schizophrenia.
We now have evidence also of potential physical harm from the smoking of cannabis, and we have an approach that this House has taken over the years, I believe rightly in the field of public health, to discourage people from smoking and using other substances which harm their physical health. I believe there's a very strong argument to say that there should be some consistency when there's emerging evidence of the physical harm of smoking cannabis, that we need to be consistent in our approach and discourage people as much as possible from smoking cannabis.
Director of the Christian Institute, Colin Hart, cautioned that the government has already tried a soft approach to cannabis with harmful outcomes. We have tried this before and witnessed serious ramifications for people's health. How much more disastrous would it be for society if we legalised cannabis completely? The law as it stands is working well, and the government should continue to put its resources into enforcing the law and getting people off illegal drugs. And finally, unborn children have been shown responding to music from just 16 weeks old. In a new study, researchers in Spain worked with women who were between 14 and 39 weeks pregnant. Videos of the babies show them responding to the music of Johann Sebastian Bach. The research showed that nearly 90% of the children moved their heads and limbs when they heard music, and almost half reacted by putting out their tongue. The researchers described the study as a big step forward in understanding communication with babies. We are aware of and recognise the importance of talking to babies from the moment they are born to promote neurological stimulation. Now we have the amazing opportunity to do this much sooner, which is a huge advance. Well, that's all for this week. For regular updates and information on all our stories, plus much more, visit our website at christian.org.uk. Until next time, goodbye.